Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video with your boy, Dank Meme King. Today I have a theory for you, a SpongeBob theory on the whole SpongeBob TV series. Recently, SpongeBob has been fucked in the ass multiple times, but that is besides the point. Today we're not talking about his anal fornication, we're talking about his life explanation. Tacky as it may be, it is as possible as it is real. And that didn't make any fucking sense, but did I ever make sense in my videos? Yeah, it's 6 that Bush did 9/11 video, which I do not regret ever. 10 out of 10 IGN. And, well, as we go on to the theory, we will now start reading. Well, the theory starts off as SpongeBob itself, the show, is not an act of just a clever TV show. It is actually the result from the 2017 candidacy. Candid, fuck me in the ass cheeks, daddy. What happened in the candidacy is that Donald Trump was assassinated. Bernie Sanders had a heart attack because he's at least 600 million years old. He's a fucking dinosaur, for Christ's sake. And then Hillary was the only one standing, and so she was elected because suspiciously everyone else died off. So after the 2017 candidacy, the president or emperor Hillary Clinton was eventually, elected. And after that, he was elected. She was elected. Whatever the fuck that thing is. That thing. And yeah. And then besides that way, he was elected, and Emperor Hillary Rodham Clinton decided it'd be really fucking nice what if we just exterminated all the men in the world. So eventually, all the men in the world were exterminated, except a couple few that fled to the ocean. These men were called the Spongelings. They were green or yellow with holes in their body. They began to adopt the fish ways as they became fucking amphibious. They went underwater, and they began to have fish children and morphed into what ungodly creatures have been created through this mutatic experimency with these awful tendencies and mutations that resulted from the awful crossbreeding that took place in a very small area called Bikini Bottom. After Bikini Bottom was inhabited by these immigrants from an unknown world, they eventually accepted them, not before they were used as slavery for at least 250 years. But after they gained their independence through a long-ass fucking trial of molesting children, they eventually were— my phone went off, and I don't care because I'm telling a fucking SpongeBob theory. Did people not know how to have proper manners? And the SpongeBob theory is the best thing ever. And after the Spongemen went to Bikini Bottom, were slaves for 200 years, they got their independence, and after they got their independence, they were free people. Of course, there were many people that didn't like them. There was the Ku Klux Fish Clan, which usually lit squares on fire on their porches, but no one understood why they were squares, but they were squares. And after the 300 years of discrimination, they were accepted by the populace as people of their own. After this, there was a horrible accident. A nuclear reactor exploded in a misfit of fire and death, and nobody knew why. But there was an outcome of this. There was a man named SpongeBob. SpongeBob, nobody knew how he got here. He had parents, as he claimed, and eventually everybody just accepted him for being there. He, for some reason, was in a pineapple. No one understood how the pineapple survived under a saltwater sea, but they eventually just kind of gave up and accepted SpongeBob's presence. After living there a good years and making friends, one of his biggest friends, Patrick Star, became his best friend. Patrick wasn't a very bright guy, but his friends are friends. And after that, they became really great friends. And Squidward, their neighbor, Squidward always seemed off. He usually stood in his house alone, not doing anything of the sort. But besides that, they lived a happily normal life. But nobody realized that SpongeBob was not who he seemed to be. SpongeBob worked at a fast food restaurant, being himself as usual. nobody expected what SpongeBob would soon do. One day, SpongeBob showed up late to work. Not even late, just not there. SpongeBob, for SpongeBob, this was very unusual. After Mr. Krabs decided this was a very unspoken event, he got worried and went to SpongeBob's house. After he arrived at SpongeBob's house, this usual pineapple with its bright orange colors were green, and it was very mushy on the outside. The door itself was barely holding up the frame of the house. Mr. Krabs gave a light knock on the door, but the door just fell in, as it had no force pushing on it, but the moldy, gross, saggy pineapple that left on it. Mr. Krabs, being the entrepreneur and smart man he is, decided it was very creepy and decided to go get Patrick and Squidward to come with him. He got them and he went into the place, SpongeBob's place, which had all the lights off. Gary's noises, perfect mewing, was silent. SpongeBob's happy "Bah!" was not to be heard, and there was no smell of freshly clipped toenails, as usually his house smelled. As this story goes, they decided that maybe they should look for a deeper reasoning of why SpongeBob was here. Because everybody's noticed for the years on, he's been completely happy and normal. But to just disappear one day is not normal for SpongeBob. But that is besides the point. After SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs, Patrick, and Squidward entered the home, that's about it. They went into the house and not to find SpongeBob at all. But going back to the Krusty Krab, maybe he just was late to work and was having a rough day. The Krusty Krab was on fire, with the sounds of screaming children, women, and men inside. The doors were blocked off by a string of tightly sealed seaweed. Tightly sealed seaweed, not teal. Oh, what the fuck I just said. Anyways, after that was intrigued, first instinct of Mr. Krabs was to fucking go, "Me money!" And Squidward was like, "My paycheck!" And then Patrick was like, "Fuck me!" And then that's about that. So they kind of just watched the fucking place burn, even though they're underwater and the fire. I don't. You expecting this to make sense? This is the best creepypasta theory I've ever. But is it possible? SpongeBob wasn't SpongeBob, but Bob Sponge. Well, I know you just said holy fucking balls and ass cock. What are you talking about? Like this theory does debunks the bonk of Arenado already. So after that, after the Krusty Krab was burned, Mr. Krabs sued, Squidward had a job, then eventually Patrick fell into a deep depression, never seeing his friend for days, months even. This was a turntide, but this was in the plan of Mr. Bob. As I mentioned earlier, these sponge people, these sponge men, after the Emperor of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton, was, elected. It was different. Sponge men have come, the result of a nuclear accident that is, resulted in the birth of SpongeBob, and after that, nobody exactly knew what to do besides investigate. They decided it'd be really good to go to the factory that was destroyed and burnt and just disintegrated, the nearby city of Bikini Bottom. Oh, you thought they were in Bikini Bottom? Nah, Bikini Bottom is the accident. And after that, they went to the city, and the city was disintegrated completely. But apparently there is footsteps in the soft, brittle sand of the radioactive porpers. The forces, far, and after that, yeah, went there. They found SpongeBob. Hundreds of thousands of the people they have enslaved, murdered, and discipled for hundreds of years. After this occurrence, they just there's a large fucking war going on. But the moral of the story: if Hillary Clinton is fucking elected, we have a problem in this bitch, alright? SpongeBob is gonna turn into a psycho murder maniac, and that's about it. Thanks for watching my video, guys.